Hello, everyone. I want to talk to you very briefly about interesting information for getting a higher score on the speaking part for the IELTS exam. One of the first things that I want to point out is the significance of collocations. I had my student give me 2 or 3 items for each of the categories listed: collocations, phrasal verbs, academic vocabulary, transitional phrases, and word family. When you're looking at this chart, think about words that you already know and you could possibly use when you have the prompt that the examiner will give you. First of all, the examiner will give you the card and you will have 1 minute to think about what words you want to use or how you're going to start. In this example, we can see that the card that you'll receive reads, "Describe a sport you would like to learn." When you talk about a sport you would like to learn, this is what you would actually say. You would say something like this: what the sport is, and in this case it is going to be the sport of football. When you want to learn it, you would like to start next week. How would you learn it? You would learn it at the sports center, and why you want to learn it. And this student said he wants to learn it because it is famous in my country. You will need to know what collocations are, and here are 3 that my student came up with: very interesting, confront issues, heavy traffic. You need to have the ability to use phrasal verbs. So the 2 that were given are pay off, put on. You need academic vocabulary. The 2 academic vocabulary words are accurate and important. Transitional phrases, likewise, in addition, and however. And the word family associated with a sport: sports center, sports facilities. And this is one of the reasons it is recommended that you have a wide variety of reading, have done a wide variety on many different topics, so that you have a functioning vocabulary, the word families for whatever the topic is that you're given. Since the cue card asks you to be able to describe a sport, you need to make sure that you are describing the sport. And the student has described the sport by saying, football is a game with 11 players. There are 10 players on the field, and 1 is the goal kicker, and 2 nets are on the field. Each team has a net. The objective of the game is to get the ball into the net and earn points for the team. Now, as the student starts to delve more into in this 2-minute conversation, he's going to use at least one of these words in each of these categories. The game of football is very interesting. The game of football it should be a very interesting game. The game of football is very interesting. The game of football is a very interesting game. I would like to start learning next week. I would like to learn the sport of football while practicing at the sports center. However, it is important that I pay off some some of my bills first. The main reason I would like to learn football is because it is a famous sport in my country. In addition, if I become a part of a team, I would be able to travel and play the game with other teams within my country. I did have important here. So there, if this student, without any help from me, was at a 5.5, being able to use the collocations, the phrasal verbs, academic vocabulary, transitional phrases, and word family, then that would possibly take the student from 5 to 6.5 or 7, even or perhaps higher if the fluency is there. So let's take a look at the amount of time it will give, the amount of time that will be given for the student to speak. Let me get my timer. The student will have actually a total of 2 minutes to speak. I will practice speaking and tell you exactly how many seconds it took me to speak at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. The sport that I would like to describe is football. Football is a game with 11 players. There are 10 players on the field, and 1 is the goal kicker, and 2 nets are on the field. Each team has a net. The objective of the game is to get the ball into the net and earn points for the team. The game of football is very interesting, or the game of football is a very interesting game. I would like to start learning next week. I would like to learn the sport of football while practicing at a sports center. However, it is important that I pay off some of my bills first. The main reason I would like to learn football is because it is a famous sport in my country. In addition, if I become a part of a good team, I would be able to travel and play the game with other teams within my country. Okay, that completes my responding to describing a sport. And I spoke for 1 minute and 15 seconds, which is sufficient to get the appropriate score. If you have questions, please post them and I will respond within 24 hours. Thank you for listening. I'm Dr. Priscilla.